Let's be clear, AI agents aren't some far-off sci-fi idea anymore. They're the next huge shift in how we do business, promising to act as real virtual coworkers. But for you, as a leader, the real question isn't if you should adopt them, it's how you can do it safely and smartly. That's exactly what this explainer is for. It's your strategic roadmap.
So just how fast is this all happening? Well, according to McKinsey, job postings for Agentic AI have just exploded, up by over 985% year over year. I mean, that's not a trend, that's a seismic shift in the market. It demands your attention. The race is officially on.
But, and this is the big but for every leader, with all that power comes some serious risk. That same report makes it clear that executives are and should be worried about trust, governance, and liability. So the question becomes, how do we grab all of this incredible potential without opening the floodgates to new dangers?
To answer that, we all need to be on the same page about what we're talking about. The AI Agent Playbook has this fantastic, simple analogy. Think of a large language model, an LLM, as the brain. It's the engine. Then you have RAG, which is basically the process of feeding that brain new, up-to-date information. But the agent is the decision maker. It's the one that takes the brain, takes the info, and then actually plans, uses tools, and gets things done in the real world. It's all about autonomy.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the foundation, building trust. Then we'll walk through a 5-level roadmap to roll this out responsibly. After that, we'll see what the big payoff looks like with these virtual coworkers, and we'll wrap up with your single most important next step.
Let's dive into the most crucial part first, building that foundation of trust. Because before you let any AI agent act on your company's behalf, you have to lock down the non-negotiables for making them safe and reliable.
Here's a really practical checklist for any executive. First up, define a clear mandate. You have to give the agent a very specific role. Don't just call it an assistant, call it a senior contract lawyer who reviews NDAs. Specificity is key. Second, enable smart collaboration. Don't try to build one giant agent that does everything. That's a recipe for disaster. Instead, build a team of smaller, specialized agents that cooperate. And third, and this is the big one, you have to implement your safety net. We call these guardrails.
So what exactly are guardrails? Well, think of them as the brakes and the steering wheel for your AI. They're the constraints that keep your agents from going completely off the rails. This could be anything from limiting which tools they can access to stop them from racking up a huge API bill, to setting up quality checkpoints that require a human sign-off. You also need a fallback plan for when an agent just gets stuck. Honestly, this stuff isn't optional. It's absolutely essential for managing your risk.
Okay, so once you've got that foundation of trust in place, we can move on to the roadmap. And look, this isn't about just flipping a switch from off to on. It's a strategic, 5-level journey that lets you slowly and responsibly turn up the dial on agent autonomy.
We're going to start at the very beginning. Level 1, the basic responder.
This is probably where most of your organizations are today, right? Think basic chatbots. At this level, the human is in total control. You define the entire flow. The value here is pretty simple automation, and the key executive check is just as simple. Do we have good, clear standards for how we prompt and interact with these models?
Okay, next up is level 2, where we introduce what's called the router pattern. Here's where we start to hand over just a little bit of control.
So at this level, the human still defines all the possible roads the AI can take, but the AI gets to make a simple choice, like deciding whether to route a customer email to sales or to support. The business value is that kind of simple classification. And your big executive check here is all about security. Have we defined and totally secured every single possible route this agent can take?
Now we get to level 3, and this is where things get really, really interesting. This is tool calling.
This is a huge leap in what the AI can do. Here, you give the agent a toolbox of approved tools, say an API for web searches or your internal CRM, and the AI itself decides when to use them and how to use them. This unlocks access to real-time data, which is a game changer. But it means your executive check becomes absolutely critical. Do we have rock-solid controls on API costs and data permissions? At level 4, we're not just thinking about a single agent anymore. We're talking about a coordinated team. This is the multi-agent pattern.
You can think of this like you're creating a manager agent that delegates tasks to a crew of specialized sub-agents, just like a human manager would. The business value here is massive. You can solve really complex problems through this kind of AI collaboration. And your governance check is all about process.
Are the roles for each agent crystal clear? And are the handoffs between them totally seamless to prevent mistakes?
And that brings us to the frontier, the very edge. Level 5, the autonomous pattern.
At this level, the agent isn't just using tools you gave it. It's acting like an independent AI developer. It can generate, execute, and even debug its own code. The potential here is mind-blowing, but let's be honest, so are the risks. Your executive check at this level is non-negotiable. Is this thing running in a secure, air-gapped sandbox, and is there a mandatory human approval step before anything it creates goes live?
So, we've just walked through this entire roadmap, from simple bots all the way to autonomous systems. But what does this actually look like in the real world? What's the payoff for going on this journey?
Let's paint a picture with a real-world Level 4 system. Imagine a brand monitoring system. Step 1. A scraping agent goes out and gathers every single mention of your brand from all over the web. Step 2. A team of specialized analyst agents, one for X, one for YouTube, and so on, they analyze all that content for sentiment and context. And finally, Step 3. A writer agent takes all of those different insights and compiles them into one single professional report. All of it completely automated.
This brings us to the final and maybe the most important question for you as a leader. Now that you have the map, what's your strategic next move?
If you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Successfully rolling out AI agents is not a one-off technical decision that you just hand over to the IT department. It is a strategic, phased journey that demands executive oversight, a relentless focus on trust and safety, and a deep understanding of the maturity model we just walked through.
And that leaves us with the big, strategic question from McKinsey's research. As you start down this path, what does this mean for your workforce? How are you going to build the teams of the future, where human talent and digital labor work seamlessly, side by side? That's not a technical question. That is one of the most important strategic challenges you will face as a leader in the coming years.